Alright. The name is Dale, doing the album review for Logic's No Pressure. This album review is done on behalf of Audio Liquor Magazine. I have to admit, I was really sleeping on this album. This new album, No Pressure, I had no intentions on getting it. I didn't even have any intentions on listening to the joint. But my folks, Tony, told me the album was very impressive, that he liked the joint, it was a good joint. And then my folks, DJ Chop, said it was a good album, so he got the official stamp of approval from those two guys. I trust their musical taste. Don't always agree, but I do trust their taste and respect their musical reviews for the most part. So I decided to give it a listen. And Logic has 6 studio albums. His first album, Under Pressure, dropped in 2014, and it was very impressive. That was my first time hearing him. I knew nothing about him beforehand. I knew after the fact that he dropped mixtapes before that album came out. That's how he got on, but that was my first time hearing him. And it was a very good album. I was highly impressed with it. Good body of work. His next album, The Incredible True Story, not so much, didn't really care for it. And then he had his album after that called Everybody, which put him on the map to the masses. He became somewhat of a household name. I think he got Grammy nominations and all that. It was a very solid album. I dig the concept of the album. So he bounced back to me with that joint. And then he had Young Sinatra. Didn't care for that so much. He fooled me with the Wu-Tang feature song on there, but that was one of the few songs I like on the album. Didn't care for the album on the whole too much. Didn't hear his album Confession of a Dangerous Mind. Didn't hear that at all. I think the only joint I heard was the joint he had featuring Eminem. So for me, his discography has been very up and down, and Logic gets a lot of hate, which I don't understand. I wasn't sleeping on this new album due to me hating him. It was just that there were only 2 albums that I knew of that I liked from his whole discography, so I was kind of sleeping on the music in general. But I don't have no hate for him. He's from my neck of the woods. He's from the DMV area, so I support him just based on that. But he gets a lot of hate, especially from Joe Budden and his crew on his podcast. Joe Budden seems to have something personally against him, like Logic fucked his girl or something. It just seems to be more about him not liking the music. And I heard folks on his podcast say that he sounds like he's copying other folks, which didn't make no sense to me, because I've heard them like other folks' projects and other folks' music that sound like a lot of other folks' music. So I didn't understand that criticism of Logic, saying one album he sounds like Kendrick, another album he sounds like J. Cole. I didn't understand that at all. I didn't see that or get that, especially based on other people they tend to review and like. So with that being said, going into this album, I was under the impression that No ID produced the whole joint, and that's not the case. He actually only did like maybe half the joints, if that. So I was surprised to find that information. And Logic says this is his last album. Like basically he's retiring, which I don't believe. I believe that's some bullshit. I mean, he might prove me wrong, but other artists have said that in the past and went on to make many albums after they said they were retiring, or this is my last album. We know Jay-Z said that shit in the past and didn't stick to it. Too Short, few other folks. Probably the only one who stuck to it is Joe Budden, and he didn't announce it. He didn't say this album is gonna be my last album. It was kind of like organically, he naturally said it. So maybe he'll stick to it. I don't know. But he seems to be the only one that's really being true to his word with that retirement shit. But we'll see. Maybe he'll prove me wrong. So I'm going to get into the review of this album. I have to say off the top, I was very impressed with this album. This might be his best album. So I'm going to go into detail with most of the tracks, not all, because there were 3 songs that I didn't care for. But for this to be a 15-track album, and it's 3 songs that I really didn't care for, and those songs are not bad at all. They just tend to be a little, just okay to me, just a little meh. You know, not really totally filling them all the way, but this is a good body of work. So the first song is called No Pressure. It's an intro song. It's produced by No ID. I dig the speech that's sampled to start off the track. I like his verse. It's a 1-verse joint. Good way to start off the album, the project. And then you got another track called Celebration, which is produced by Logic and No ID. I dig the samples that are used. I like how it switches up. It's some straight hip hop shit. I even heard this song used on a TV promo for the NBA. So I was happy to hear it doing a commercial for the NBA. Like, this is not a commercial song. This feels like real boom bap, chopping up samples, dudes just going in type of rap. And it was refreshing to hearing this type of music on an NBA commercial promo joint. Then you got another track called Open Mic / Aquarius 3. I think it's produced by Logic and the Six, that's his name. Basically 2 tracks as one. The lyrics at a certain point on Aquarius, he speaks on having a son and being a father. He touches on that a little bit on the second half on the Aquarius side of it. Then you got another track called Soul Food 2, which I believe is the second part to Soul Food, which was on his first album, Under Pressure. I believe this is the second part. You know, you see the correlation. His first album is called Under Pressure, and then his so-called last album is called No Pressure. But Soul Food 2 is produced by Logic and Six. I dig the beats. Another change up, but it's the rhymes that carry this track. He has a somewhat sci-fi story that he tells on the second part of this song, which I dig. It was different. You got another track called Perfect, produced by Six. A short but very strong song. A bouncy beat, but still hip hop. You got another track called Dad Bod. Funny title for a song. Produced by Six and Post. I like the hook. I dig his verses, which just have him speaking on life as a rap artist and the thing he goes through, and his kind of like relation to his fans or his audience. I like that. And you got another track called 5 Hooks, produced by Logic and Six. I really dig the production, the sample use, how the samples are chopped up, the change up. It has a nice change up, some good hip hop shit. Really like it. Logic goes in, he kills it with the lyrics. One of my favorite joints. Then you got another track called Dark Place, produced by Six. Logic gets deep in thought. I like how the drums switch up in the middle of the track. It has a sample speech towards the end, which was thought-provoking. Then you got another track called A to Z, produced by No ID. I really dig the concept of this song. He uses the letters of the alphabet to formulate his rhyme, and is in the structure of the beat and the sample. I really like it. One of my favorite joints. Then you got another track called Heard 'Em Say, produced by Logic. I love the sample singing. Very catchy. Logic dropped jewels, some introspective shit. You got another track called, I think this more so is like a bonus. Track 14 is called Amen, produced by Logic and Six and Post. A catchy song with a uplifting gospel musical vibe to it. I think this could be a single. I think this could get some radio play. I like it, but it's not a reach for the radio. It's not a reach for a song that's going to appeal to the masses. It feels like it's just that organically, just naturally, just comes off that way. And what's the other? Then you got the last track. I can't remember the title of the joint. But it's basically like an intro. It's produced by No ID. It's one long sample speech. A speech that's sampled. It's very long. I believe it's from Orson Welles. And I believe the speech in the first song, No Pressure, is from Orson Welles. I believe he got it from the same source. It has no rapping on it. Logic doesn't rap at all. And it's a very profound speech that Orson Welles gives on this. It's about racism and how racism doesn't make sense. It's a very strong outro, and the production is nice. I find myself liking it. It is like 6 minutes long, and it has no rapping on it, and I still found myself liking it and listening to it every time that I listen to the album. So this is a very strong album. I'm gonna give it a B+, a strong B+. I should be giving this an A-. I really should. But like I said, it was only 3 songs that I didn't care for, and those songs weren't bad at all. He has no features but one. He has one feature, and that's on Celebration. I can't remember the guy's name, but he did it. He did his job. He did his thing. So he only has like one feature on 15 tracks. I don't even think he has anybody featured like singing on the joint. Very impressive. Project is better than I thought it would be. And I have to say, I highly recommend you download this, get it. And if this is actually his last album, this is a good way to end his rap career. I'm sure he's going to do another album or drop some mixtapes. I'm sure he's too young. He's only 30. So there you have it. I'm done. I'm finished.